let's go ahead and get started. If I could please have the doors open by my wonderful, wonderful co-hosts. We have today with us Phyllis and Marilyn and AJ, as we are bringing to you Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program, it is my honor and privilege to be bringing to our amazing community a resource that allows you to bring information that is empowering, information that is coming for a more natural, more holistic approach to the body and how to gain or maintain wellness within the body. Folks, we are not chemical deficient. We're nutrient deficient. So when you give something that's nutrient deficient what it needs, what's it going to do? It's going to start thriving and doing better and better. It's like a plant. If the plant doesn't have water, doesn't have nourishment, it's going to be wilting. The color's going to be off. But once you give it that water, once you give it those nutrients that it is longing for, it flourishes and thrives. And that's exactly what the body can do too. We're not chemical deficient. So let's give some information that is approach to wellness instead of sick management. So on Daily with Doc, we are honored to provide to you the knowledge, the resource, the recommendations of a doctor who has had, goodness, 60 years, over 60 years of research. In fact, it started out when he was only 9 years old. That's 75 years ago, folks, that this man started researching the importance and realizing, not just researching first, but realizing the importance of nutrition and how the wrong nutrition creates havoc within the body. But when you stop and make adjustments, that havoc then becomes peace and everything just synergistically working together. And that's what this program offers to you as well. So this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. We are independent distributors within the Longevity family. And if you were invited by somebody specific, please make sure that you get back with them. Ask them if they have their own special way of ordering. If there is nobody to thank, then feel free to use our website, dailywithdoc.com, where we do have a store there. For those who are not working with a health coach, who've never placed the order with Longevity, we also have contact options there. And for everybody, we would love to invite you to sign up for our newsletter. On our newsletter form, we also have an option where you can submit a question and we will get an answer based on Dr. Wallach's research back to you so that you can start implementing the recommendations and start feeling the difference. We do recommend that you give us 90 days, 90 essential nutrients, 90 days, makes it easy to remember. And because of the formulas that Dr. Wallach and his team have put together, health can be simple as well. So without further ado, I do want to let you know that this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. Our products are not meant to diagnose, treat, prevent, cure any diseases. But folks, when you give your body what it actually needs, the body itself can do some amazing things. We just have to be the guide as to what is put into our temples and take care of our temples. Because if we get garbage going in, we can't expect anything but garbage coming out. And if you want to live a long life where you are able to enjoy life and not be confined by all of the destruction that disease can do within the body, there are things that you can do to help support wellness. We're not guaranteeing that you'll live to 120 with no diseases, but folks, you get better options whenever you do become intentional on what you put in your body to support it. So Dr. Wallach has a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. He has been a veterinarian around the world with 3 postdoctorates in pathology. And those pathology doctorates are not just in animals, unless you want to consider yourself an animal, because he's done some pretty extraordinary research, which included 1,700 autopsies on children in Qishan, China, finding out why these young babies were dying. And he found the reason, and he found the solution that they were able to implement. And it's all written in his book. So folks, go to drjwallach.com, where you will find all 23 or 24 of his publications, plus a couple from some people that he trusts, what they are saying as well, who are part of our community, and also the recordings. We have over 70, let's see, how many recordings are there, Dr. Wallach? I know on the thumb drive, there's like 45 DVD videos and recordings, which is an amazing deal at only $99 to get all of that information. But how many CDs are there? Does Wellness Publications offer?
Just less than 100, and then of course there's about 40 DVDs.
So there is a lot of information, folks. Information that you can use for yourself. Just be a sponge. And then as you are out and about talking with people, take and just ring a little bit, drip some information out for others so they too can hear the message of hope and what they can do to help support their body and what they can do. Now, Dr. Wallach, Father's Day is coming up. Do you have some information that can help our fathers and men in our lives, and even boys growing up?
Absolutely. Yeah, the boys are pre-fathers. Okay. And so it's one of those things where you really have to start with their health and information in these boys for at least 6 months before they're conceived. Okay. If you wait until mama's already 2 months pregnant and you do an ultrasound, say, oh, you got a little boy, 2 months pregnant, and do an ultrasound, and she's not been taking vitamins and minerals, there's going to be a problem. Okay. And so we need to spend more attention, even if you don't plan on having babies, even if you're not planning on having babies, you need to say, okay, why do I have a spare tire in my car? I'm not planning on getting a flat, but just in case I've got the spare tire and got a little hand pump to pump up the air, all kinds of stuff. And so I'm not planning on my engine freezing up, but I have antifreeze in there because it also helps with overheating in the engine and so on. We have to do the same thing for ourselves and our families and families to be. And kids, of course, are some of my favorite people. And that's why we do so many things for kids. I'm going to kind of jump to where we're at now. And we're saying, okay, if you already have 3 or 5 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 of my 23 books, that's not unusual. I mean, I see the names of people who are ordering books constantly, and they get them to their relatives. They give them as gifts at holidays and birthdays and things. But also they use it to engage new customers and new distributors in their businesses and grow their businesses. Well, we're ready for the next step. We're ready to start a crusade. Okay, we talked about this a little bit. But Father's Day is a great place to really get serious. 90 for Life Crusade to save the world and humanity. And I'm flipping to the middle of this flip chart, which is we're working on. We're hoping to have it all ready for available for people by the end of this month. And then maybe within a month after that, we'll have a thing you hook up to your computer. Okay, it's a
Digital download of a
digital download.
PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, there you go. Okay. Well, what we have now, okay, is in the middle of this flip chart. It starts with famous people and color pictures of them and me, and 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 paragraphs of the presentations I was giving for them. Okay, sometimes about them and their families, and sometimes for them because they're doing a great business, because we've helped them with their personal health issues. We're talking about Danny Glover. Okay, great um, guy who's a movie actor and a comedian on stage and so forth. But he was born with, let's see here, with seizures. Okay, he was also born with epilepsy. So we got rid of that. He said, "Oh my gosh, I got to have this for everybody." So he wanted me to do a special tool for him, which I did. Okay, and of course he wrote the last chapter of the book, The Wallach Revolution. He tells the story in the last chapter. And then we have Pastor Creflo Dollar. His family was plagued with asthma. We were able to help Pastor Creflo Dollar get rid of his asthma in his family. And there's, I don't know, 2 or 3 paragraphs in a color picture of he and I together on the stage. And we're going around the world, he and I, and he's introducing me to the Black community in the world. Pastor Creflo Dollar, I just couldn't thank him enough for allowing me to share with his church people. And then, okay, we have a picture of Ted Soriano, who's about my height, standing between the Stinger, Mike Glenn, great basketball player, and Theo Ratliff. Theo Ratliff is like 7'5" or something like that, really tall guys. And they had arthritis and terrible, long stories, but there's like 5 or 6 paragraphs about them. Got Ted Soriano in there for a size contrast. And then Andy Young, great politician. Okay, great politician, a pastor. And he and I went around the world, okay, getting people to enroll in the longevity program and start giving nutrients to people instead of just drugs. And what can I say? Ambassador to the United Nations and mayor of Atlanta, okay, and a pastor. How much can one guy do? And he's one of our biggest supporters. A great picture of he and I together. And then, of course, Jonathan Emord, our great attorney, who helped us get all kinds of things, including the, gosh, I think it's probably about 20 something different things he's helped us get, okay, which includes the various things to prevent and reverse diseases. I just can't thank him enough. Which includes the cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and the, let's see here, the kids thing where they die suddenly.
Well, Dr. Wallach, let's talk about men's health itself and what can we as family members or men for yourselves do to help support healthy hormone production, bones, ligaments for those, everything.
There's 2 things that men have to do. Number 1, avoid the bad stuff. That sounds pretty simple. Avoid the bad stuff. We're talking about no fried foods. I mean, no fried chicken, no fried fish, no stir-fried vegetables, nothing fried, okay? Because it turns into trans fats, it turns the fats into trans heterocyclamines and acrylamines, which cause cancer in every part of your body, your lungs, your testicles, your liver, your intestines. You don't want that. And so you want to stay away from fried foods, okay? They shorten the lives of people all over the world, fried foods. Then you want to, you can have roasted foods, baked foods, grilled foods, but not fried. You got to stay away from those oils and fats and things being to fried temperatures. Then they need to stay away from oils, salad dressings, cooking oils, because they turn into trans fats and cause cancer. Okay, can't have those. They really do a job on your cells, your organs that are very busy, like the brain and the heart and the liver and the intestines and so forth. You got to stay away from gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Well, come on, these breakfast of champions. Well, that was misinformation. You want to kill your champions? Give them wheat. Okay, anything that's made from wheat damages the villi and the intestine. They go away, and you lose about 98% of your absorptive surface. You could be supplementing with millions of dollars worth of supplements, and they're all coming out the other end. If you're having Wheaties for breakfast or pancakes, waffles, buckwheat, which doesn't have gluten in it, but it does have phagopyrines, which is 10 times worse than gluten. Okay, and so then you also need to stay away from sugar, and you need to stay away from carbonation, all the carbonated drinks, including the diet drinks. And the one people don't pay attention to is carbonated water. Okay, club soda, that kind of stuff. You can't have that because it neutralizes stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. That will kill you faster than anything. Then I want you to take the 90 essential nutrients minimum. Okay, it's 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minutes to 3 fatty acids. And we have the Healthy Start Pack, which covers that territory. And then if you have multiple issues already, I like and that's what I take. I only weigh 142 pounds, and I take 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. The Healthy Brain and Heart Pack has 215 nutrients, the core of which is the 90. Okay, and we make that available all over the world. And it's amazing changes we made in the health pictures in various countries, okay, and cultures around the world. And then we want you to also, in addition to supplementing with the 90 essential nutrients, we want you to use our Rebound, our sports drink. It has 100 nutrients and it's 75 minerals and 25 vitamins, amino acids. Look, Red Bull, which is a top-selling energy drink slash sports drink, has 3 times the sugar we have, 3 times the caffeine we have, and it only has 1 mineral, magnesium. We have 75 minerals, they have 1. I think they have 2 vitamins, and we have 25 vitamins, amino acids, okay? So that's what makes us different. We run our systems on nutrients, okay, as opposed to sugar and caffeine. And of course, we have some great stories. Again, with Theo there, where he had bone-to-bone arthritis when he was 24 years old. He lost a $35 million contract to Atlanta Hawks. To make a long story short, we rebuilt him with our Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, which is our Healthy Start Pack. And we had to come up with the collagen peptides, not the collagen peptides, our glucogel, which is our first collagen products, and gave it to him. He came back 6 months later, and he played for, I think it was like 11 years, made over $100 million. And he bought one of these big complexes, okay, in Tennessee, and he makes it freely available to young kids who have everything from emotional problems to neurological problems to physical problems, and helping them heal so that they can live a longer, healthful life and so forth. But don't forget our Rebound or sports drink. It has 75 minerals in it and 25 vitamins, amino acids. I drink 2 a day minimum. If I'm going to do heavy work, I do 3 a day. I drink the cans at home because I can pop them the night before I'm going to drink them, put them in the refrigerator so they're free of all the carbonation by morning. I take the sticks and a canister of powder with me. This is 1 dose. You stick this in one of these, quart bottles of water. And I can take 2 of these, 3 of these a day when I'm on the road. Okay. And that's along with my 90 essential nutrients. That's not a replacement for it. It's an add-on when you're doing physical stuff. Okay. And we want to encourage dads to exercise, but also you need to encourage them to take all the 90 essential nutrients, because when you look at people who exercise, let's look at professional athletes, Olympic athletes, their life expectancy. This is published in medical journals. Their life expectancy is 56.7. Now you'd think with all the exercise they do, they'd live a long time. What's going on? Well, they're sweating and they're not taking vitamins and minerals. They're just drinking water to rehydrate, and they're losing all these nutrients, and that's why they're dying at 56.7. That freaked me out that's published in medical journals. Okay, I'm not making that up. And so this is one of those things where you really, really have to say, okay, we got to pay attention to that. And then you look at, okay, what is the life expectancy of people who what?
Well, there's a lot of people, a lot of different demographics and such that we could be looking at, Dr. Wallach. But did you finish the bad foods and go on to the good foods? I know eggs are super important for brain health, heart health, hormone production.
That's right, because eggs provide cholesterol, and contrary to what doctors say, cholesterol is one of your best friends. They came out 100 years ago saying cholesterol is what was the cause of blocking arteries. That was incorrect. That's like saying flat tires are caused by sunshine. Okay, it's totally outrageously wrong, but that's what they said. And pharmaceutical companies came up with statin drugs to lower cholesterol, and that's when our troubles really began. When everybody started getting prescriptions for statin drugs to lower cholesterol, we wound up having sexual problems. Okay, because you couldn't make hormones anymore. Okay, no more hormones, no more sex. Okay, and then absolutely, you have to appreciate that when you're eating all these processed foods, you're not getting the minerals. You're winding up with arthritis, osteoporosis. You wind up with osteoporosis of the skull, and that's 56 diseases right there. Osteoporosis of the skull, and they'll send you to their classmates, and because you're dealing with 56 different diseases, so they're sending you to like 7 or 8 or 10 different specialists to give you drugs to treat the symptoms. They're not going to get rid of the disease. They're treating symptoms. They don't even know you have osteoporosis of the skull. I'm the one who introduced it, came up with the book, It's All in Your Head. Okay. It's a book and a CD that Dr. Milan and Rebecca and I, 3 of us put together. Okay. Yeah, there you go. And of course, my favorite pictures are these. Page 6. The top skull is normal at autopsy. You took the top of the skull off and looking down in the brain, you see the skull is a 1/4 of an inch thick all the way around. Yep. The bottom picture is another skull at autopsy. We took the top part of the skull off. You're looking down the brain. It looks like oatmeal because the skull was squeezing, the arteries bringing in nutrition and oxygen into the brain, so the brain is dying. But you notice that the skull is 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick because that's all the bone in the skull has been replaced with scar tissue. And so this is where all these diseases come from. And so this is the kind of stuff that's in this 90 for Life crusade to save the world and humanity flip chart. I mean, it'll blow your mind what's in here. Okay, this is my lecture. So everybody will be able to give my lecture with the pictures, with the details, and you will be able to start your start your brother who's a dad, start your son who's a dad, start your teacher who's a dad, start your pastor who's a dad. Get them involved and get them involved with this 90 for Life crusade to save the world and humanity. And we can do great things. And we need fathers to be healthy. Don't forget the 0 test for boys. And on the girl side, we have 0 fem for girls. Okay, don't get them mixed up. We went to the 0 test for boys. And they can take, I weigh 142 and I take 2 or 3 of those, depending on my supply. I take 2 or 3 twice a day of the 0 test. And I have my 3 eggs twice a day. Okay, and I have cheese and all this kind of stuff. I try to get as much cholesterol as I can because cholesterol makes up 2/3 of the white matter of your brain, your myelin. Okay, it makes up 2/3 of the white matter of your spinal cord, and you get Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is MS, multiple sclerosis of the spinal cord, if you don't have enough of the cholesterol. Okay, and so, and then if a certain part of your brain doesn't have enough cholesterol, you get tremors. So it goes from being MS to Parkinson's disease, which is Parkinson's disease with tremors. Okay, and you start eating properly. And I have people who've been on, cholesterol lowering drugs and all these medicines for years and years and years and years. You get them on our program, and in 2 weeks' time, they're doing better. And in 4 weeks' time, they remove most of their medication, and usually 60 to 90 days are totally normal. It's one of those things where I've had people who have been on these drugs for 10 years, and in 6 weeks' time, they're totally off of these drugs and back to normal. And they had all kinds of stuff going on for 10 years. Okay, and so why wait until you have all these problems to say, well, maybe we should fix it? You put air in your tire before you damage your tires. You put oil in your car before the engine burns up. You use an air filter before the engine burns up. You use antifreeze in your radiator before the engine freezes and blows up. Okay, and so we need to kind of think in those terms for ourselves and save our fathers and support our fathers. And believe me, they will be overjoyed because they'll be able to help their families, their immediate families, their extended families, their church families, their workmates, their neighbors with this. And we'll give them a little check. Okay. I have people who are high school graduates. Okay. High school graduates for making more money every month. Okay. By engaging all these people and getting them involved in the longevity program, either as a customer or as an associate. Okay, a salesperson. We call them associates. That's less offensive to most people. And these people are going crazy because not only they're having fun helping people, and of course, Mother's Day we did a great job. Now it's Father's Day. We need to do a great job, and you will be handsomely rewarded, and you'll be able to buy your dream car. You'll be able to put your kids and grandkids through college and so forth by getting involved with us. And again, I just love it when these people who've been with me 20, 30, 40 years, and they've been making more money for 20, 30, 40 years. Every year they're making more money than all the doctors in their community, and they've graduated high school. They don't have one college course, okay? And that's because they were able to take all the raw materials we have, and it started out with a audio cassette tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, became a CD, then the book, and the CDs are in 9 languages, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We sold over 600 million copies of that one. And so the message is out there. There you go. That created a firestorm at the world level when it came to information. Okay. Because when doctors don't know what's going on, they say, oh, it's genetic. That was absolutely a lie. There are no genetic diseases. Genetics are useful to see if you're a boy or girl. Genetics are useful to see if you're going to have blue eyes or brown eyes. Okay. Also, if you're going to have blonde hair, red hair, brown hair, black hair. And that's about it. Okay. That's genetics. Okay. The rest of it has to do with what you eat, what you don't eat. And if you're going to exercise, you need more of this stuff, the rebound with 100 nutrients in it, not just the ones with just one mineral. 75 minerals. Yep. I mean, I'm a witness that Becca does it. She's on that all day. And she's a witness. I do it regularly and faithfully. And of course, when I'm on the road, I take the sticks. Okay. And when I'm at home, I do for the most part, not always, but I'd say 90% of the time I do the cans, but I pop the tops at night, put them in the refrigerator so they're ready to go the next day. And so this is not difficult. You don't need a college education and 18 degrees to do this. We've already done all that. And so you just have to follow the recipe. Okay. And that's where these books came in. Okay. It's all in your head. The Wallach Revolution, Hell's Kitchen, Immortalium. And another great one is Rare Earths. It talks about chapter 10, let's see, in chapter 10, it's the glacial milk. When the Bible talks about all these people living to be 900, okay, yeah, there you go. But when the old Bible talks about, let's see here, Adam lived to be 930, Noah lived to be 950, Methuselah lived to be 969, okay, and they were getting all these nutrients. They were living in the land of
Milk and honey.
Milk and honey, but it wasn't cow's milk. Okay, it wasn't goat's milk. It wasn't camel milk. It wasn't llama milk. It was glacial milk. And we have, analyses of the glacial milk from all these various famous places where all these long-lived people came from. And in the Old Testament, there's 21 stories in the Old Testament where they feature glacial milk as being the cause of people living a long time. They knew what was happening. They didn't know why it was happening. And then it's mentioned in passing 100 times in the Old Testament. So I figured I better spend some time figuring out really what that means, because it's in there so often. The stories are unimpeachable, and they go back to the days before people could do analyses and tell us what was in that milk that was flowing with milk and honey. Okay. Well, it turned out it was glacial milk. And we just appreciate the good Lord. We appreciate the people who put that Old Testament together, because the stories then are still true now. Because they never said the origins. They never said, and they inferred, but they never said the origins of the land flowing with milk and honey. They never said it was because it was the land of glaciers and volcanoes. They didn't say that. They just said it's the land flowing with milk and honey. And so we had to figure it all out and run around and get all these cultures, okay, where they lived. Oh, there's a same thing happening in all those places. And then we started getting analyses of the glacial milks, and sure enough, that's where all these long-lived people come from, including the Hunzas in the Himalayan mountains. Their life expectancy is 120 because of the glacial milk. And there you go.
I get my glacial milk, Dr. Wallach, in a colloidal form twice a day, plus what's in my rebound, plus what's in my tangy tangerine, plus what else do I take? Mineral caps, plus a fucoid Z and a fucoidin, or the Z radical.
And you can rub it on yourself, just a plain plant minerals. You can rub it on your
Oh,
skin.
I spray it.
You spray it on, yeah, and it'll absorb it.
Doc. Fine little mist, gets nice spread out, absorbs right in. Don't have to worry about waste. I love, I love them. So,
Okay,
and
well,
it's nice refreshing.
let me take 3 more minutes and tell one more story. This guy is a father, okay, and he's a pastor of a church in uh, on the East Coast, okay. Pastor Mike Freeman, um, and he was in the hospital, okay, and in a coma for 6 weeks, and the doctors told his family, look, he's only got hours, maybe a day or two left to live. You better come say your goodbyes. There's nothing we can do for him. He's not responding to anything. He's a gonzo. And so let's see here. Linda Tyler, okay, from Baltimore, Maryland, where his church was. She's a member of his church. She calls me and said, anything we can do for him? I said, yeah. Does he have a G2 we can put stuff in? No. Does he have an intravenous thing so we can put stuff in? No. So, okay, we just take our plant minerals, our liquid plant minerals, take a third of a cup or a half of a cup, because I didn't know how much he weighed, of the liquid plant minerals, put it on his sternum, his chest, his upper belly, and his lower belly 3 times a day. Do that again on his back, between his shoulder blades, his upper back, and his lower back 3 times a day. You're going to go through a couple of quarts a week of that plant-derived colloidal minerals because of that. And let's see what happens. Well, on the third day, just on the third day, Pastor Mike Freeman wakes up, shaves, goes back to his church, goes directly to his TV and radio studio, and for 12 hours, he's telling his story over and over and over. And thank God, praise God, he recorded it in his voice. And so we actually have a CD that tells the story in great detail. Okay.
I got it right here, Doc.
You got it? Okay. Yeah. Praise the Lord and pass the 90. Praise the Lord and pass the 90. Everybody needs to have this DVD available and play it once a week with their family. They have visitors, they have guests, play it for the guest. Okay. Praise the Lord and pass the 90. Because here's this pastor telling his story. He only had hours to live. He was in a coma. Doctors couldn't help him. And we just rub God's plant minerals on him. He absorbs them through his skin, heals himself. Okay. And if you've ever been around military people or in the military, you know what praise the Lord and pass the ammunition means. You're going to be on God's side. You want God on your side when you're in a battle. When people are shooting at you, you also want to be able to shoot back at them. So it's praise the Lord. We want him on our side, but please give me the ammunition to shoot back at the bad guys. So praise the Lord and pass the 90. In this case, 90 is our ammunition to protect our bodies and to save our bodies and to rebuild our bodies. And so this is one of the greatest stories ever told. And it's been recorded for posterity. Everybody needs to listen to this thing. I mean, I try listening to it at least once a month just to get refreshed, because I mean, I cannot tell you how inspiring the story is to hear Pastor Mike tell his story. I mean, you can tell he was thanking God, okay, and using God's tools, which was the plant minerals, okay, the glacial milk coming down from the mountains. And we in America we called it bottomland, okay, because we're looking at the bottomland, you know, where all these minerals are coming down in the streams and everything down into the bottomland. And then when we came up with electricity, they built dams and shut off the water flow to the bottomland. So we after they came out with electricity at the turn of the 20th century, okay, they built all those dams for hydroelectric. Suddenly now there was no more bottomland. And that's why suddenly now we had all these diseases pop up that nobody ever seen before. And doctors are calling them genetic disease. They're really just simple nutritional deficiencies because they dammed up and stopped our flow of nutrition, which we'd had for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
It's definitely a story of cause and effect, Dr. Wallach.
Yes.
Something happens, and without realizing what the actual effects of it will be. Yes, we've got electricity. I appreciate my electricity. We could not be doing this Zoom without electricity, Dr. Wallach, and I would not have hot water. Well, I could still have hot water, but without hot water, it just the conveniences of everything. But then you realize that convenience has made a huge impact on the nutrition that's
Yeah,
within our food.
it came at a cost. It came at a cost. And we don't want to give up electricity. Electricity has been good for manufacturing and business and certain things going in the health industry, no doubt about it. But we have to compensate. We have to make sure that we're not giving up 25 years of health just to have electricity. So we have to do what we have to do to make sure we're not losing 25 years of health. We want to gain 25 years of health. But the thing is, we don't have any more wood ashes. We don't have more coal ashes at the scale that we had before electricity. And so we have to consciously supplement with these nutrients, which we provide in many forms: liquids, powders, tablets, chocolates, you name it. We have
Yeah.
in our rebound shakes and so forth. We have in many, many different forms. So it's not just you're going to be taking 700 pills 3 times a day. It's not quite that silly, almost, but not quite that silly.
Not even close, Dr. Wallach. Not even close to 700, not even 100 to be able to, you know, support your body with the nutrition that it needs. Not even
That's
through
correct.
everything, splitting it at 3 times a day. It doesn't have to be that way. And it's so much less when you're proactive rather than reactive. And I have to agree with JP. Tesla had a much better option to electricity with the Tesla generator rather than dams disrupting the natural flow of water throughout the world. But yeah, it's there's a lot of things that have happened since then, and to be able to blame it on genetics because they can't explain it is like the scapegoat.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't want people to know they didn't know something. They want you to think they know everything. And so when they don't know something, they blame it on you. They blame it on the victim. You're the one. You have the bad genes. That's why you have this problem. Okay. And I can help you with the symptoms, but I can't get rid of it because it's in your genetics. Well, that's in the old days, we used to say that's caca.
Well, what they're using to help to get rid of or control the symptoms, Dr. Wallach, when we look at it, folks, we go in, we've got one thing going on, they put us on a prescription. You go to the back to the doctor because you've got all of these other things going on. So they put you on 2 or 3 more prescriptions. And then the next time you have to go on 2 or 3 more prescriptions. Wake up. Do you think maybe the chemicals of the prescriptions that you're taking within your body is causing damage within the body? That might be as bad or worse than what you initially went in for? When it's a simple nutritional deficiency in most cases.
Mm.
So I know that there's some chemical exposure that can happen, from our environment that can cause damage. Absolutely. But still, with the body continually making new cells, those new cells just either replace or take over. So with or without college, Dr. Wallach, high school graduate, lots of college, not the degrees I was going for, but hey, I've been able to take the information that I have gained through school, through being with you, through my previous educational opportunities, and then taking the technology, Dr. Wallach, putting it all
Well,
together.
we
As,
can't thank you enough. And I'm a witness. You have helped so many fathers over the years that I've known you. Okay. You've helped so many fathers in this special weekend, this weekend, starting today, tomorrow, and Sunday. It's one of those things where the fathers, okay, are important people. Okay. Not only for, half of the baby when it starts, providing the sperm with the egg to come up with an embryo, but also um, mechanically growing food, mechanically providing water, mechanically building houses, mechanically saving lives in all kinds of ways, um, building armies to defend our families and our countries and so on. And so it's one of those things. Fathers have a huge role in human society, and we cannot thank them enough. We will never be able to thank them enough. We will never be able to thank them at the level that they need to be thanked. And so that's why, we always like to say, and God's going to do his part to do good things for fathers. We're going to do our part. And so, because we can't do it all, but with the help of God, we will be able to get everything done. And so I'm just so excited about this and this new crusade we have starting in a couple of weeks. We want to have this first round of our flip chart ready. Oh, and also we're setting up now where we're able to get our books up into Canada without having to pay shipping charges. Okay, we found a way to get them printed up there on order, very, very cheap and no shipping cost. And so we're really working hard for the fathers of Canada. It was
Yes. That has been something, Dr. Wallach, as I took phone calls for wellness for a little while, and people calling from Canada wanting to order books, and the cost of shipping was more than the book they were wanting to order. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, so we
But
found a way to beat that. And so this is being worked on now, and within a couple of days it'll be done, and people can start ordering all the books that went up in Canada, shipping free.
what? The US doesn't get shipping.
Hmm?
The US doesn't get free shipping. How's Canada going to manage that? They still have to pay shipping within their country. They just don't have to pay the duties.
They won't have to pay shipping.
I got to talk about talk to the head people on that one, Dr. Wallach. But let's go ahead and get some people helped here on the show today,
Okay.
because we have some hands up. We have some questions that are being put into the chat. Thank you, everybody who is out there, who are out there on Rumble and YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. This program is being brought to you by dailywithdoc.com, where we have the replays from our previous shows available for those who want to find a show quickly. You can go to dailywithdoc.com. All the shows from this week are not quite up yet. They will be up by Monday, so make sure that you are part of our newsletter so that you get an email that includes the links and descriptions to our shows right into your email so you can easily share with other people. Also, we have a store there. The products that Dr. Wallach is going to be mentioning in the next half hour or so. Oh my goodness, only 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Dr. Wallach, that was a long monologue. Let's get busy. But you will find our store there. Folks, if somebody referred you to this program, make sure that you get back with them. Thank them for sharing this program with you, and ask them how you also can get on the 90 essential nutrients to be proactive or reactive, if you're at that stage, at being able to maintain or gain wellness. So my first question here, real quick, Dr. Wallach, is it possible to regrow teeth or heal bad teeth?
It is not possible to regrow teeth. When your teeth are gone, okay, they're pulled or they fall out or they're rotten, that's
They're
it.
gone.
They're gone. Okay, we don't have the capacity to regrow teeth. And so you want to take good care of them. You know, I'm 84 years old. I just turned 84 a couple of weeks ago. And these are all my own teeth. I don't have any implants. I don't have any dentures, anything like that. I do have one tooth knocked out. It was a fight in a mall where three guys wanted to take my bags from me. And two of them ran away. The third one was on the ground all beat up. I could only pick on one out of the three at a time.
We don't have to show your aggressive side, Dr. Wallach. This
I
show is
wasn't
about,
aggressive. There were three of them picking on me.
well, that's when you just, kick butt and keep going, and I have to brag about it. It's okay. It's okay to be a little guy picking on big guys when they start picking first. Let's go to Phyllis, who has her hand up, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Phyllis.
Hey, Dr. Wallach, we all know you have a soft spot for animals, as do many of us out in Zoom land. We love our pets. I think sometimes we love our pets and take better care of them than we take care of ourselves.
That may be true some cases. Yep.
And I would like to encourage those out in Zoom land, call in your pet questions. Doc can advise not just on the animal products, but the human products that they can take as well. He can give you dosage. He helped my cat with stage 2 kidney disease live an extra 2-3 years of quality life, thanks to Dr. Wallach. So do call those questions in. I have a couple of pet questions from my clients. Number one, the I-26 product for dogs, can cats take that product?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, the whole idea there is to keep the white matter of the brain and spinal cord in shape. Okay. And also it helps with hormones, but basically it's the white matter that's cholesterol makes up 25% of the brain weight, 25% of the spinal cord weight, and the I-26 is raw material to rebuild and maintain that. Okay.
So
And
they're
so
taking
actually,
it by body weight then.
by body weight, that is correct.
Okay.
And you can go the opposite direction too. We don't have a dog in the house because we're gone so much. We don't have a dog in the house or a cat in the house, anything like that. We do have some wild animals outside, but we do have the Arthrydex for animals. And so I always say, if we run out of something that I need from longevity because they can't get a raw material, okay, and it's gonna be a month or 2 or 3 before we get another supply, I will take the Arthrodex, okay, because it's a great supplement, and I would not be nervous at all about taking Arthrodex. In fact, I think I'm just going to start taking a dose a day just to get started on it, and do some blood tests and hair analysis, that kind of thing. But Arthrodex is one of my favorite animal products, and so I just love it so much. I keep a little store of it here at the house. So if things do fall apart because of supply issues, I have something I can take that I have faith in that's going to give me what I need.
Preppers, you hear that? Keep the Arthrodex on hand. And a lot of people don't realize it's a full-on vitamin mineral supplement for animals. It's not just for joint issues. It's got
That's
everything
correct.
in it they need. The other question is relates to the Arthrodex. One of my clients, his friend has dogs. They only eat dry food. Now, how can they eat the Arthrodex? Do we sprinkle it, mix it with the dry food? Is
Just
that how
mix it
they would?
right with the yeah, just mix it with the dry food, and they like that because it has liver in it, and they love the liver taste. And when you mix that with the dry food, it's kind of like putting a little um, uh,
Sprinkling
what?
seasoning on the dry food, Dr. Wallach.
Yeah,
My
putting
dogs
seasoning on dry.
love it.
Yeah, putting seasoning on dry food. That's a good way to say it.
And thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Back to you, Becca.
All right. Thank you, Phyllis. Great questions. And we have somebody, Dr. Wallach, what time is it? Oh, we've got a few minutes. So we have somebody who's 160 pounds and a gentleman, he thinks that he may have prostate cancer. His PSA numbers are high. He does not get up to go to the bathroom frequently at night. He stops drinking about 9 p.m. And he doesn't have high blood pressure. He doesn't have blood sugar issues. It's just his PSA is high, Dr. Wallach, and he's concerned about that. So
Okay.
we're talking about fathers. What
Yes.
would be something for him?
Okay. Well, for him, we don't know whether he has cancer or not, so we're going to kind of go 2 different directions at the same time. He needs to get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, bran, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Absolutely none of the buckwheat. Okay. And the carbonated drinks include the carbonated water. Okay. Anything that's going to neutralize stomach acid. And then I want him to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, full dosing twice a day, 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So he take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. I also want him to have, let's see here, I want him to support the immune system. Okay. So he needs some more oxybody. I'd have him take the oxybody, right? And let's see here. I would also go with the something strange. I would have him take the Ocean's Gold, 3 of those twice a day. Okay. I'd also have him take the Z radicals, all made from seaweed and all these weird nutrients from the ocean and that kind of stuff. And so this is going to help the immune system. And I would not give him any of our like ProstFX. I wouldn't give him the ProstFX because you don't want to be encouraging the prostate to grow if he thinks it's cancer. But it wouldn't hurt for him to get an MRI, which is not radiation or no biopsies, but an MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, and you can tell if the prostate's enlarged, okay? And you can see if there's a bump or lump on it, which could be considered, you might then want to do a biopsy or take the bump or lump off or whatever, okay? But I would do an MRI. It's non-invasive. It's something that insurance would pay for. Doctors have to request it, okay? And let me know what this guy's MRI shows on his prostate gland, because it could be just he's not getting enough nutrition, and so the prostate gland is not functioning properly because it's not getting enough of the nutrients it needs, and it's sending out all these balloons saying, help me, help me, help me. And that's why he's having all these signals that there's something going on with the prostate gland. And it might be just something that he's just missing some nutrients. Do a hair analysis. There's all these sort of non-invasive things that can be done. We'll put it on the right track. We don't want to do anything that's going to stimulate cancer. So that's why I'm not recommending any of our prostate products until we know that he does not have cancer. Okay.
Absolutely. And I like, Dr. Wallach, that you do take that into consideration because, you know, cell growth is cell growth, whether we're promoting cell growth that's healthy cells or non-healthy cells. We definitely want to make sure that we're not adding that factor in there when there is a concern or even a question of until things are ruled out. So, Dr. Wallach, I know I appreciate that the fact that you take the time for that, and so many others do as well. And it is time for you to move on to your next program. I can't believe our time goes by so quickly.
Well, happy
Thank
Father's
you.
Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there, and to you coming up, Dr. Wallach, as a father as well, and to my sons who are fathers also, and their fathers. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Wallach, and happy Father's Day to my father. I love you, Daddy. Um, it's just great that we are able to continue to support life, Dr. Wallach.
Well said. Rebecca, well said. You are an angel of God. We cannot thank you enough for being with us and being a 5-star general in the team and all
I'm
the
going
great
for
things
10.
you do.
Why stop at 5? Let's go
Okay.
for 10. But
We're
no,
going to
I'm
make
not
you the
here for
first
the
10-star
recognition.
general.
I'm not here for the recognition, Dr. Wallach. I'm here because I know the benefits that I myself experienced, and my prayer is that many, many more people will be able to experience that as well from our efforts with this program called Daily with Doc. So, Dr. Wallach, thank you again. Have a safe trip to your next show. And if I could get my co-hosts on with me, I greatly appreciate that. Go ahead and spotlight yourself because I want you to have more practice. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Phyllis. So Phyllis is amazing. She's helping with getting the information transferred between Zoom and also out into YouTube and Rumble and putting information in the chat, along with Marilyn, who does a fabulous job at doing that as well and making sure that the information that Dr. Wallach shares is written out. Now, folks, we want to protect your privacy. So we do not make the chat where it can be saved. So we do that for you. A lot of people are putting information into that chat. Names are mentioned. We don't want anybody to have that information out as a recording. So we make sure that that is not included in our recordings. If you're live with us in the Zoom room, you do have the opportunity to take your phone and do a little screenshot or you know, take a picture of it and use that to get back with your health coach and say, you know, this person had some of the same things that I have going on. I want to get on this program as well. That's what this program is all about, is to be able to start pushing buttons for people to realize, hey, those are red lights I need to be aware of. and not just be aware of them, but take action to keep them from getting brighter or totally burning out. Folks, we don't put patches over anything. It's not out of sight, out of mind. It's addressing the body as a whole through nutritional, intentionally. That's going to make a difference in your life, my life, others' lives. And I want to thank AJ, who is here filling in, taking care of the technical stuff for us today, as Ruth Ellen is taking a much needed vacation. I get to take them. My co-hosts need to take them as well. So thank you so much, AJ, for being here with us and making sure everything gets connected. You're doing a fabulous job. And folks, thank you. Thank you for taking time, investing time into gaining knowledge so that you can help yourself and others. If you're looking for a community that supports wellness, that supports just the fact that there are things that we can do, we do not have to be a slave to the medical matrix, and you want to take things into your own hands and be more natural about your approach, then consider joining us. Even if you just want to be a preferred customer and get on the products, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank, feel free to go to dailywithdoc.com, and we have the store there. We have contact options there to make sure that you are getting exactly what you need for your specific needs, your desires, your goals. Because there's a lot of things that can be done through nutrition. And even if your goals are not nutritionally, if your brain is not being fed, it's a little bit more difficult to do things like write books, crunch numbers, fight for your country, mentally and physically. And if you've done it already and you're dealing with some of the effects of that, nutriate the brain. Let your brain have the opportunity to be able to function at its optimal best so that it can work best for you. My name is Becca Dukes. I am the hostess of Daily with Doc, and I thank you so much for joining us. Share this program with somebody. If you haven't done so already, and you are either on YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, make sure that you're following us. Hit that like button and share it with somebody today. If you have not spoken with anybody about longevity and you would like to speak with somebody and make sure that you are connected with somebody that's been taught on Dr. Wallach's protocols and his philosophy based on decades of research, I do have a call team that's standing by at 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377 for those of you who have never spoken to anybody about longevity or Dr. Wallach or tried the products before. Until next time, bye for now.